Lovely to see you again after the red carpet yesterday.
Yeah, I recognise you. Hello. I love your wallpaper, by the way. That's really cool.
But yeah, so just to kind of kick off, a brief introduction to the menu, an absolutely incredible, unique, and a kind of a whirlwind of a film. What can audiences expect when they watch it?
A great cinematic ride. That's what I experienced as soon as I read the script. And I hope that's what that lovely cast delivered for us. You know, there's nothing like it. It's a beautiful and odd and unique blend of horror, thriller, comedy, satire in a mashup that I've genuinely not seen before. It's really fun.
And how did you feel when you first read that script? And I guess kind of working with the same people you've worked on Succession with, there's that same kind of tone, that class satire, and then kind of heightened reality. So it's very much born out of a world that we recognize, but things, you know, from the word go are kind of slightly off. So there's a very particular tone. How did you feel when you first read the script?
Really actually just elated that I was reading such a beautifully told story. And Will Tracy, who co-wrote the script, had slipped me the script just to wanted a friend to read it. But then we started talking and it became clear, specifically to me, that actually this unique and perhaps quite hard to achieve tone, I just knew how to do that. I think I could feel it instinctively, and getting that balance of the satire, the comedy, the thriller, horror, and actually putting it into that genre element, which is part of why it's such a fun ride. That was a challenge because I hadn't really done that before. That was and that was frightening in the best way to me. Also, the fact that it was about an art that I really knew at that stage very little about. So I really had to do this deep dive into that whole high-end cuisine world to be able to kind of authentically poke at it.
And talk a bit about how you did kind of create this world that you send us into. You know, everything just seems kind of immaculately thought through and executed, from kind of getting it just right, actually how kind of high-end cuisine does look, all the food being edible, and then also using kind of the sets and the locations to really build that tension.
Yeah, research was everything to start with, and then you just go back to the character and ask yourself the question, what would Chef Slowik do? What would Rafe's character do? And that informed pretty much every creative choice. And then, of course, you know, as Chef Slowik, at least the art side of him, as opposed to the psychotic side of him, was really pinched from various world-class brilliant chefs: Ferran Adrià, Grant Achatz, René Redzepi, Thomas Keller, maybe. So we had, from their restaurant designs, we would cherry pick various elements, which you'll see if you're familiar with those restaurants. You'll see elements of those within our production design. Key to it for me was bringing in these brilliant artists, specifically Dominique Crenn, who came in to design the food and collaborate with us and oversee the whole way that the kitchen operated. Dominique Crenn was the first woman in America to be awarded 3 Michelin stars. I think still the only woman to have 3 Michelin stars in America. She was a key collaborator, and with Juan, her business partner, they came over and they ran this basically a boot camp on set to work with all our cooks, of which there were 15, 16, to run them through to make sure that everything that they did was correct and authentic for the preparation of whatever dish was coming next. So, and then I kind of amped that up into a slightly, hopefully not too absurd, but slightly stylized kind of military choreography. And then, of course, we brought in David Gelb, the creator of Chef's Table, called him and said, can you do some food photography for us? He loved the project and came in and shot this beautiful food porn for us, which really just upped the ante for that satirical element to it. So just discovering all these fantastic artists working within that world, and which are, you know, ironically, for something that I'm obviously poking fun at to a certain level, I came away with this huge respect for the people that actually work within that art form.
And I'm almost out of time, but just very quickly say a word about your incredible cast, Anya, Nicholas, and of course Rafe, and how the tension builds between these characters and they play off of each other.
Honestly, but Rafe and Anya were my dream cast from the off. I needed 2 tour de forces for those two-handers so they could go at each other, both in conflict and also in connection. And just their control and their chemistry actually ultimately on set was brilliant. With Nick, I needed somebody who was perhaps the most extreme character, along with Hong Chau's Elsa. I needed somebody who could just walk the tightrope between being perhaps our funniest and most absurd character, but still keep it real. And I watched him in The Favourite and, of course, in The Great, and I knew he could do that. Anyway, so that's a brief answer, and sorry I prattled on so much.
Thank you so much. It was so lovely to speak to you.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks.
Cheers.